Hi, my name is Nicholas Bazos, and this is my Graybox iteration for Unreal Tournament. So with my goal for this when I was on iterating the Graybox, it was to make it sharper, to sort of give more an idea what I'm wanting the final map layout to look like, and you can see that with all the railing additions I had here. I wanted to give it a little bit more of an outlook, outpost type feel with viewing areas and different sorts of things. So I'll go through some of the changes I did. So before, this sort of ledge used to be just really blocky, but I changed it to add that slant because I wanted to give it a little bit more of like a bridge point and sort of like the main area of the outpost where it's that outlook on the rest of the map. And that's where it has a U damage as well. So what I'm looking with this level is that I think there's going to be 3 main points of contest or sort of players fighting over it, and that's going to be this U damage right here at the end of the bridge, this big keg of health at this edge of the map, and then this is what I added this Redeemer weapon pickup right here. And the reason why I added it there is because before there was nothing there before, and I wanted to I didn't want to leave any unused space in the level. I wanted every space to be used, and I didn't want there to be unnecessarily decent spaces with nothing in it. So the reason why I put it here too is I felt there's a lot of good points of entries for fights to happen. So players can jump off the bridge and sort of move themselves through the air to get to this space. They can come up from the basement and get here through the lift, or they can slide through that gap right there and get there as well. So there's a lot of different ways you can get to that very desired weapon pickup. So I think it would cause a lot of interesting fighting. Like I said before, some of the final assets added are these railings along the edge, and the thing about these railings is that it stops you from just walking off the edge, but you can still jump off, so you still have to be careful about how you move near it. But I appreciated these additions to the level because I feel like it definitely gives it more of its feel like an outpost. Something else you can see is that I extended the back platform to give it a sort of a balcony, and I did this to make room for the stairs. And moving to this topic of the stairs before used to be a little clunky, but what I did is that I made another stair and I combined them together, so now it's just completely smooth going all the way up. Some of the other things I added is these sort of railings without the gaps in between them, because just to give it sort of a thematic separation, because these are sort of like the outlooking areas, and then this is sort of the main part of the level, or the main bridge, if you will. It's not really an outlook, but it's a centerpiece. And we'll run through everything as well with playing through it. But if we go down here, this was one of the major changes I made, is that you can actually see now that it's a bunch of pillars. And I sort of took this inspiration from the basement of the Colosseum. And I thought, like the architecture from the basement of Colosseum, and I thought it'd be very interesting to have combat all between these pillars going back and forth. I thought that would create a lot of engaging combat. And I left this space at the end, and I put a rocket pickup here because I felt the rocket's definitely a very desired pickup, and it would be interesting to be fighting through these pillars to try and get to this open area for the rocket pickup. And there are definitely pickups in between that are useful, and then at the either ends there's the health pickups, the small vials of health. And there's multiple ways to get out. Like before, I sort of fine-tuned it so that it's more symmetrical in the level at large. And yeah, let's play through it just to give it a little bit of a feel. So I spawned on this roof, and I put the snipers here because from playing Unreal Tournament a good amount, I noticed that the snipers are usually in the high areas. And something that I really like that has come out with my map is that the movement available with the jump pads. So the jump pad, you can use it regularly just to get up here. This is where it's supposed to take you, but you can use it to do a lot more. You can use it to get actually over to this area. So it can be, what I'm hoping with this level is that there's a lot of aerial movement. A lot of aerial movement, jumping around. That's what I want from this level, and I wanted to incorporate the verticality to support that. The reason why there's no bridges here is because you can actually, it's the perfect distance to use the evade back and forth to get it. So I wanted to sort of add it as a little bit more of a part of the map that requires skill, because if you do miss it, you'll be stuck down here and it can be difficult sometimes to get out of here. So I thought it'd be interesting to keep that part still in it. I'm gonna go back up there in a sec, and you can also just bridge that gap easily as well. I want it to be very maneuverable, but as you can see, you can sort of jump pad your way around. It's perfect height, so you can totally just skip the stairs if you want to. Like I said with the railings, they block you from going off, but you can definitely jump off. So going from before, so we'll take this, we'll slide down here, and I didn't take any damage there, as you can see, and it'll be very easy to get to that Redeemer. But you actually take a little bit of damage going down here, but not that much. And this is what I really like about this, is I can imagine a lot of fighting happening back and forth through here between players, just to sort of get to this area. So I wanted each of the height levels of this map to sort of be a different feeling, but still all connected and able to navigate in between. So I wanted this to be more of like sort of like a gladiator battle arena down here a little bit, with these pillars that sort of have that sort of actiony feel. We'll go back up here. And you can see we have this all around, and I felt like that was a good place to keep the keg of health there, because you do have to move a little distance to get there unless you jump off the top, which I think you can make it, and we can actually go try that right now. But I like how it's coming out, and I really want to stress the verticality. And as you can see, the stairs are very smooth now. Before, you have to sort of jump on the top one and then go up. Oop. Button misclick. But going through here, you can jump to the side, pick up a rocket, jump back, pick up the U damage, and you just barely miss it, but it's definitely a good way to oh, that's weird. I'm not sure why the water is acting like, okay, now it's normal. But yeah, so then you can pick up the keg of health, and I wanted to keep the sort of I want to keep a triangle, if you will, a triangle of the main game objectives, or not game objectives, but necessarily points of interest for the players in the map, as I thought it would be very interesting to fight over those areas. But yeah, I think that pretty much sums it all up. Going forward, I'm going to be adding the materials to sort of all these platforms, pillars, blocks, all that type of stuff. I'll be adding a water plane for the final production, and I'll also be playtesting my changes in regards to like how I set up the geometry of the level and if it works well for the combat like I hoped it would, regarding like the jump pads for navigating around to everywhere, and the different height levels and how that works out for gameplay as well. But thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy my level.